Thanks for staying with us. Now, it was gathered that the leading aspirant, some would say Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was enraged with the message to step down from the race in the interest of the party and told the emissaries from the president why he should send them when he could have just called or invited him for such discussion. And the source said Ashwaju was very angry when they delivered the message to him. If President Buhari has any reason why he didn't want to support him for the ticket, there is nothing wrong for the president to call him and discuss it instead of walking around to block his chances. Now, the sources said that the position of the president and some people around him might have angered Tinubu during his meeting with the party delegates in Abeokuta, Ogun State last Thursday, and maybe that was why all that outburst about him putting him into presidency now. So it was also discovered that a meeting of the party leaders convened in Abuja on Saturday evening failed to convince Tinubu to step down, even when it was said that there are plans to provide him with a soft landing by virtue of his position as the party's national leader. A source said a meeting was held on Saturday night and part of the agenda was to convince Tinubu to step down, but we could not achieve it. Now, focusing on the APC primaries, if a consensus is reached, it means there won't be any need to worry about the votes of the delegates, right, or buying of the votes of the delegate like we saw happen in the PDP primaries. But be it consensus or delegate vote buying, what are your thoughts on the legalities, right? How will this impact our democracy? And generally, how would it impact the general elections coming up in 2023? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081 803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WaysHowAfrica1 with the hashtag WaysShow. All right, so before I bring in Aliyu Lemu, I was just going to say, Norma, I'm sure you're far away in London. You chose not to focus on Nigerian problems. But just today, right, there was a publication online that said that Ahmed Lawal, the Senate president, had been named the consensus candidate. The presidency has come out to debunk that. I mean, we saw videos of Governor Yahaya Bello walking out of probably the caucus meeting or something. So a lot of drama is really happening around, consensus, happening around, what's going to happen eventually. Would they allow this party primaries and the aspirants to actually go to the polls and vote? Even if they allow them to go to the polls and vote, what happened in the PDP with delegate vote buying, with a lot of dollars going around, what would eventually happen with the APC primaries if those, if that kind of dollar drama is playing out? I don't think anybody can match an Ashwaju financially. I don't know. That's my thought. But let me hear your thoughts, Norma, then I'll bring in our guest.
Well, I mean, politics is just it's a learning curve, really, and with all the happenings around, it's almost like you're not sure what to expect. It seems like there's going to be a whole lot of more drama as we gradually come towards closer to the elections itself, and it's just a lot to take in. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait to ask our guest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me bring him in. All right. So Aliyu Ibrahim Lemu is a legal practitioner, a legal analyst, and political commentator. He's the principal partner at Aliyu, Lemu and Co., and a legal practitioner of over 15 years and engaged in active practice in diverse areas of law with an office in the nation's capital and practice of law across diverse areas of law nationwide. He is an alumnus of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria and the Nigerian Law School Lagos. And he's joined us live from Abuja, where I hear that there's a lot of traffic today. That's quite odd. Thank you so much, Aliyu, for joining us.
Pleasure to join you. Good evening, viewers.
Good evening. So you are at the heart of all the drama that is going on. So tell us, what is the atmosphere like in Abuja currently? Because this is one primary that we have all been waiting for.
Indeed, like as all Nigerians have been waiting for the outcome of the presidential convention of the All Progressive Congress. The PDP have chosen their flag bearer, so all eyes and attention is on the APC at the moment. The convention has caused a lot of traffic gridlock as major roads have been sealed for security reasons. Since a lot of VIPs are to be hosted in the venue, for security reasons, they've decided to cordon and barricade some major roads in the city. And this has led to a lot of hold-up, traffic jams, and a crazy situation in the country. I had to drive about 1 hour to a 15-minute journey to my office.
Oh, wow.
But it's okay. There's so much tension. The atmosphere is tense because of all of the drama that has been playing out. And it is rather unfortunate that we'll have to see a lot of all of this drama from the APC. It is unnecessary.
Okay.
The beauty of democracy is to have an open, fair, and even contest.
Yeah.
Whoever feels has the capacity, he has the followership, he has the support to emerge as a chair of the party should be given an open field. But from the indications, certain segments or certain sections or certain individuals whom they call it about are bent on imposing particular candidate of their choice against the interest of the major contenders of the political party, which is against the spirit of the Electoral Act.
All right,
when we talk about consensus,
yeah, go ahead.
When we talk about consensus, it is not in the way and manner that the news outlets have been reporting. Consensus does not amount to an imposition by the president, but amounts to a voluntary withdrawal by all of the aspirants who will resolve to come together and say, okay, we are stepping down voluntarily for candidate A, candidate B, or candidate C. But that is not what drama that has been playing out is showing.
Absolutely. So let's stay on that, right? Because today we want to discuss the legalities of consensus. And when you say something around the plain level field, is it really a plain level field when we know that the delegate system in Nigeria is just about who is able to pay the biggest money, right? So if you talk about plain level field, are we not in a double whammy here? Right now, okay, there are arguments and conversations around consensus. There's also that part that if you are not financially capable, you might miss out because it's not fair going to meet some delegates to, and be at their mercy for them to actually vote you as the preferred candidate. When we know that in cases of delegates here in Nigeria, it's just about who is able to pay better, because that's what played out in the PDP primaries. So, I mean, how do we even explain the legalities of these issues? Shouldn't the consensus be a lot more, receivable or acceptable at this point?
Well, I agree. It is actually not a level playing field. Right from the sale of nomination forms, right from the pegging of the cost of the nomination forms, by the exorbitant fee which the major political parties have charged aspirants, it has already discriminated against majority of Nigerians who don't have the interest of contesting to serve their fatherland. But why would somebody get the huge amount of 100 million naira just to buy nomination forms? You see, people who have worked hard all their lives, not many of them can boast of having 100 million naira from legitimate business activities. So by that alone, 95% of Nigerians have been disenfranchised from participating in the party primaries. Then when you come to the actual primary itself, we are using the APC is using the delegate system. But I want to enlighten our audience and viewers that under the current Electoral Act, the delegate system and the consensus system are not the only system provided for under the law as we have it at the moment. The recently passed Electoral Act, which is the 2022 Electoral Act, provide for three systems or three methods of nominating political party candidates. The first is the indirect primary, which actually is supposed to be the best system. In this system, all registered members of a political party have the right to vote to choose their candidates from the grassroots to the highest level. That is the system that is in operation in the United States of America. If you are a member of APC in the remotest part of Borno State or the remotest part of Bayelsa or any part of Nigeria, as a card-carrying member of a political party, under the indirect system, under the direct system, you have the power to decide as a member of that political party who the flag bearer of the political party is, from the councillor up to the president. It may be a bit expensive by way of logistics, but that is in our system. That was a system adopted by the APC in 2019, where all members of the party were able to participate in the nomination of the candidates. They dispensed with the delegate system in 2019. That was one of the systems. The indirect system is the delegate system, where instead of each member of a political party to have the right to vote for the candidate, that right has been ceded, or that right has been donated to the delegate. Now, coming back to delegates, who are delegates? Under the Electoral Act 2022, the delegates are people who have actually been voted to be delegates. So a lot of Nigerians are not aware. This issue of delegates coming to receive money from politicians and all that is because of the low level of awareness of Nigerians. Some people do not know who delegates are. Just like you vote for party chairman, assembly members, senators, and House of Representative members, the office of the delegate is a contested office. It is an electoral office. Maybe it is not popular because it is from the grassroots level, where the grassroots are supposed to vote for who the delegate representing their constituency will be. Yeah, so all of those people you have as delegates are supposed to, I assure you, not all of them have been voted. Under the law, they are supposed to have been voted delegates. And because they are voted delegates, INEC is supposed to have the record of all the persons who have been voted as delegates. About 6 months, or there's a time frame, either 6 months or 3 months before the actual primaries. These delegates are supposed to be known by INEC. It's not a new list. You don't produce a list before the election. That list is already in existence. That is the indirect system, which makes provisions for delegates. Then the last option, which is the consensus option. In that consensus option, it has got nothing to do with delegates. It has got nothing to do with members of the political parties. Under the consensus system, it is the aspirants themselves. It is the field of aspirants who will resolve among themselves that, okay, for the unity of our party or to increase the electoral fortunes of our party, it is best if we all withdraw voluntarily and allow Mr. A to be the consensus candidate of our political party. In that particular consensus system, the delegates have no say. The party members at the grassroots and at all levels have no say in the consensus system. So ideally, the consensus system as envisaged by our electoral act is a good initiative. It prevents rancor, it prevents infighting, it prevents buying of delegates, among other vices. So like in the APC as we have at the moment, the consensus system as provided by the law is not them waiting for Mr. President to tell them that this is the anointed candidate. No, it entails a voluntary withdrawal, a voluntary acceptance by all of the aspirants to agree that Mr. A is the person we believe can guarantee electoral victory to our party, and on that basis, to safeguard the electoral fortunes of our party, to preserve our party as the ruling party, we hereby concede and voluntarily withdraw and give all of our support and powers to Mr. A to contest as the consensus candidate of our political party. So
I think we saw that happen with the PDP primaries where what's his name? What's his name now?
The governor of Sokoto State.
Yes, where he stepped down for Atiku, and what's his name? Dilo Milai went and picked him up from the ground, hugging him and saying that is, consensus is supposed to actually bring that sportsmanship to say, you know what, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So where are we then missing it? Why is everybody thinking that the president has to be the one to now, bring up this what's it called, anointed one, this chosen person? Right. Where are we missing that?
I think it's an APC problem. Even within the APC, it is a PAL problem. They've been sponsoring several news reports saying that Mr. President has adopted candidate A, while the presidency is coming out to say, no, the president has not anointed any candidate. And like I said, consensus is not about anointing. And if there's going to be anointing, the anointing is supposed to be from the aspirants themselves, not from any external force. So I think APC needs to tread carefully, because what they are trying to achieve by this consensus might end up being the downfall of the party. Because if you impose candidates in the name of consensus, you're going to cause rancor And that is against the spirit of consensus itself. Like it played out in the APC. Those who are ready to voluntarily withdraw and step down, they should do so openly before the whole world see. If out of the 23 candidates, 15 of them have stepped down to say, okay, we are choosing candidate B as our own consensus, and we step down for candidate B, then it takes 15 candidates, it takes 15 aspirants out of the race, leaving 8 or 7 aspirants. So let the remaining 7 or 5 or whatever number remains, let them slug it out among themselves. The supporters and the followers of the candidates who have voluntarily withdrawn should go and vote for the candidate for whom they have withdrawn, just like they did in the PDP. This drama they are making the country go through is actually unnecessary.
Okay, I'm going to come to Norma, but let's take a very short break because I would like to understand because if I hear you correctly now, you are proposing that they should actually go to that primaries. They should go and, what's it called? May the best man win.
The whole world.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're discussing this APC primaries, right? We're asking what are the legalities of consensus or the delegates, and again, when you know that behind that delegate, there's some vote buying happening there, right? What are the legalities of all of those? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WadeShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WadeShow. All right, so Norma, let me come to you. The woman that would always talk about consideration. What are your thoughts on this? What questions do you have for our guest?
Back to consideration, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to ask, with all of this rancor going on, Aliyu, what does this mean for both the party members, the delegates, as it were, and this consensus system? Does this allow for the party members to even have a say in the matter, or even the delegates themselves, who we are assuming was a contested office and they were able to be eligibly voted for? What does this really mean? All of this rancor, what does it mean for the party and for the elections?
Well, I tell you one, all of this rancor is not good for the political party. The members of the APC are not happy with what is going on. The delegates are not happy with what is going on. The aspirants themselves, you saw a video of the Ibelo, the governor of Nasarawa State, and I walked out of the meeting allegedly with the presidency. So it tells you that it is creating more rancor, it is creating more tension, which is unnecessary. Let them allow an open contest. They shouldn't be afraid. That is what the electoral system is all about. But unfortunately, the APC as the ruling party, which is supposed to embody all that democracy stands for, is actually standing for the opposite. They are not interested in holding a free and fair primaries. They are interested in imposing candidates. They are interested in not even consensus. They are interested in imposing a particular candidate on the field of aspirants. This is not good for our democracy. It is not good for the APC, and it is not good for our country, Nigeria.
Okay, Aliyu, I was going to ask you that, let us be realistic here. And in terms of strategy, we already know that PDP has a very strong candidate, right? PDP has a candidate that has, he's been running for a while now, and he knows the looks and cranny and the loopholes as to winning an election. So he's very, very, he's a very strong contender when it comes to what's it called, political elections and running any politics, right? So shouldn't the party, shouldn't you give room for that party to then say, you know what, why don't we shelve all these aspirants aside and just pick somebody that we know that we can match the strength that this other party, because other parties have brought out all their candidates. I mean, Labour Party has a very strong candidate because I know majority of young people are behind, Peter Obi. Atiku has his own because he's an old soul in the game, in politics, right? So shouldn't the APC, because again, don't forget that they are trying to stay in power. They are trying to make sure that they do not lose that seat to another political party come 2023. So their choice of picking up a consensus candidate, should that not be for the good of maintaining power, and also to be able to at least strategically match the strength of the opponents that are already known, right?
Well, I think what you're talking about is democracy. Because if you are talking about democracy, then democracy is all about choice. And the power of that choice does not reside in a single individual, not even if that individual is as big as the president of the country. The choice does not reside in the Central Working Committee or National Working Committee of the political party, which is the national chairman and all its national experts. The power does not reside with them. By the law, which the APC has sworn to uphold, the Electoral Act, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and its own constitution, the flag bearer of the party shall be chosen by the delegates. It is the wisdom of the delegates. If they choose the least favorable candidate today, so be it. Let the chips fall where it lies. So when we are talking about democracy, then the voice of the majority, no matter how stupid or foolish it is, still represents the voice of the majority. It is only by wisdom and persuasion that you can get the delegates to vote and see reason in the candidates you want to promote or you want to sell to them, but not by imposition. This is something whoever is interested in choosing a political candidate should have done months ago, not a day or two before, or in fact, not even at the venue of the National Convention. Absolutely. It is something that should have been done
a long time ago,
many weeks ago, a long time ago. So, like I said, like I'm telling you, democracy is the voice of the majority. And in this case, the delegates are the persons empowered to choose and decide what that voice is. Whoever the delegate choose at the end of this exercise represent the voice of the members of the APC. This is who we want to be our flag bearer. So in the wisdom of Mr. President, in the wisdom of the National Working Committee, by law, by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by the Electoral Act, which governs nomination of candidates and even the general election itself, by the Constitution of the APC itself, which provides for the guidelines and manner in which the flag bearers are to be elected, then that flag bearer can only be chosen. If it is by consensus, then it has to be chosen by the aspirant themselves. But if it is by the indirect primaries, which the APC has chosen to adopt, then that power and that voice belongs to delegates, no matter how foolish it will seem to anybody else.
Absolutely. Norma, you have a comment.
What can we do now to actually salvage the crisis that is going on? Because obviously this is going to cause a lot of disruption for the party, as it were. So what can APC or the leaders of APC do now to resolve this matter?
I think that's what he has said. They should just allow them go to the primaries, you know. I don't know. But
or in the alternative, persuade. They should persuade. They should not impose. They should persuade. They should show the delegates. Try to convince them by superior argument and reason to say, okay, look, it is the interest of the parties. The interest of the parties at stake. We are asking you to go and vote A, B, or C, because we believe that it is that A, B, or C that can guarantee the electoral fortune and the survival of our party as a ruling party. Any other way is not recognized or permitted by law. Then, for the aspirant, if it is going to be a hard sell for the leaders of the APC to convince the delegates, and they are bent on adopting consensus, then horse trading is allowed in elections. Horse trading means you gather the 23 aspirants. Okay, look, we in the best interest of the party, we are trying to make you see and understand that the only person who can match the other candidates of the other political parties because of his wide reach, because of his financial capacity and all that, is candidate A. So we are asking you, in the interest of the party, to withdraw from this contest voluntarily, and we compensate you. You can give candidate B the vice president. You can give candidate C the power to nominate who the Senate president is going to be. You can give candidate E 5 ministerial slots. You see, by that kind of persuasion and horse trading, they can be able to persuade the aspirants themselves to agree to voluntarily withdraw. If it is done that way, there will be less rancor, you know. But when you just come and announce that Mr. President has chosen Mr. A, irrespective of what the other aspirants think, that is not consensus. That is imposition, and that only works in a dictatorial system of government. And in Nigeria, we are practicing a democracy and not a dictatorial system of government.
Okay. Somebody sent a
Just
message.
to put this question in, just by the side, in your opinion, Aliyu, do you really think that we are practicing a democracy so far?
Um, we are practicing a version of it. Our, demo- our democracy is not perfect. The democracy we admire so much and like to mirror our democracy in that direction is American democracy. And America has been practicing democracy for over 200 years. In fact, for over 250 years. So it took America 250 years to arrive at where they are now. It doesn't necessarily have to take Nigeria 250 years to get to American democracy. But you can see that democracy is a gradual step. It is we call our democracy a nascent democracy. We are still maturing our democracy. I can assure you that we have made progress in 2022 more than we have in 1999, and we made progress in 2019 more than we did in 2015. So the progress and the movement might be slow, but I assure you there have been some movement. We are progressing little by little, even though our electoral system still leaves so much to be desired because of all of this rancor we're experiencing at this moment. But gradually, we'll get there someday.
Absolutely. Norma, you have a comment?
Okay, I mean, it's just a very short one. It says APC is going south, no consensus in direct primaries. And then another one that says APC has zoned the presidency to the south. So, what are your thoughts on this, Aliyu?
See, all of this, like I said, whether the party zones it to the south, to the north, or to the west, or to the east, that power of choosing who will who will fly the flag of the party, rests with the delegates. The president cannot unilaterally say he is zoning a particular office to a particular section of the country. The National Working Committee, whatever decision they take, is subject to ratification by the National Convention, who are the delegates. So it is up to the delegate to say, okay, we agree that in this contest, let the party zone its presidential candidates only to the south. But you don't do that on the day and on the venue of the National Convention. So it is something that has been done a long time ago. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Lemu. So if, let us say, tomorrow we wake up in the morning and indeed they have chosen a consensus candidate, what is the legal, what's it called, approach for all the disenfranchised aspirants and possibly maybe the delegates, because they also had a job to do? You know, exactly. What is the legal approach?
Under the Electoral Act, any aspirant who is not happy with the way and manner the primary election is conducted, or who alleges that in relation to the way and manner in which they allegedly chose a consensus candidate, the provision of the law was not complied with, then let me tell you the risk that APC stands. If APC chooses a consensus candidate against the interest of even one member, one aspirant, if that aspirant goes to court and he wins the election, the court will hold that APC does not have a candidate in the general elections of 2023. That is the implication. That is what the law provides. They risk losing out participation in the presidential election. This is a risk which I believe the party should not take. The withdrawal of the aspirant must be voluntary. And voluntary means fully accepting without any form of coercion, without any form of inducement, without any form of imposition by the president or whoever. If I'm saying I'm withdrawing voluntarily, then it should be voluntary in the full sense of the word. So if one aspirant says he did not voluntarily withdraw, even if 21 or 22 accept consensus and only one dissenting voice refuses that consensus, and then he goes to court, the APC risks losing out in the presidential election of 2023. They will have no candidate, simply for breaching that simple provision of the Electoral Act that says for you to have a consensus, all of the candidates must have voluntarily withdrawn, and their voluntary withdrawal shall be in writing and submitted to the party and delivered to INEC. So if they disobey that provision, then I assure you that's the end of the APC.
Oh wow. Let's take more comments. Good evening, my beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #ways. I'm not giving any comment concerning the APC primaries, the legalities of consensus versus delegate vote vying. I really want to comment concerning the killings that took place at the Catholic Church in Owo. My heart really goes out to those who lost their loved ones in the tragic incidents. May their souls rest in perfect peace, and may God give them the fortitude to bear this painful loss. I really want to ask, do we really have a government and a president? How can this happen and the president is busy hosting a dinner with people? This is very disgraceful. There is no show of remorse and sadness from the president. Sister Owa, you're alone in the studio. Why did they abandon you? My name is Daniel Ilo, your Ways regular fan. I wasn't abandoned. We just had some emergencies. But Daniel, we are going to address this conversation tomorrow because that's our hot topic for tomorrow. We want to discuss this party thing about, there was something happening and there was the hosting. So I'll take another comment, and Norma, you have your comment. Someone says, what is transpiring in APC today is good for our democracy. We will surely see a position taking the mantle of leadership in the opposition taking the mantle of leadership in 2023. So if there's okay, you didn't leave your name, but he says if there's issues going on around here, it means that at least it gives room for the opposition to be able to, take on the mantle in 2023. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Norma, you have a comment?
Yes, I do. And this is from Chisom. It says, hi, guys. The entire system is flawed. Whether buying delegates in the secret or open or buying the cabal by the consensus all make no sense to me. Let's be real here. Nigerians are being killed every second, and we are all seated waiting for 2023. That country must be, the country must be cleansed before 2023. My heart goes out to the families of those who lost. Thank you for your comments.
Okay, so Lemu, let me bring you back to the comment that I read about opposition taking over. Because people believe that whatever happens tomorrow, if there is no consensus in the real sense of consensus, where everybody comes together and agree that, okay, this is the person that will bear the flag, and there are loads of disgruntled people. I mean, we've already seen some. Yaya Bello walking out of the meeting, we've seen some things going on. You know that the political scene around the APC is really heated. So do you think this is actually advantageous for an opposition? And do you see what I mean? The person that sent the message around an opposition taking over the seat of leadership in 2023. Do you see that happening?
I actually agree with him. If care is not taken, we're about to see something unprecedented in Nigeria. The ruling party will actually lose the election even before the ballot is cast. If they go about this in the wrong way, and then 1, 2, or 3 aspirants were wrongly forced to withdraw from this race in the name of consensus, I assure you, if they go to court, APC has already lost the election even before the first ballot is cast. You see, it's just that sometimes these cabals and these political parties are actually antithesis of democracy itself. What is the harm? What is the fear of allowing an open contest? If you are not going to allow an open contest, where did you allow people, so many people, to buy the nomination forms, despite the huge amount of money pegged for the nomination forms? Forms were sold to 23 people. That's 2.3 billion naira. That's humongous.
But Aliyu, that form sales and all of that, was it not the party just trying to raise funds for their party, to make sure that they are well funded? Because,
for whatever reason it is, you shouldn't sell form to people if you're not going to allow them to have an open contest.
I get you.
So haven't sold this form to this number of people. The least you can do is to let them have their deal with the delegates. Let them come back and campaign to the delegates. Let the delegates decide. That is what the law provides. the site, the president himself, the National Working Committee of the party are all enjoying their by virtue of the laws which they supposed to uphold. Let also the delegates perform their duty assigned to them by law. You don't take away the power granted the delegates by law in the name of consensus. If you must do consensus according to the law. Let the aspirant decide willingly, voluntarily, and freely. But if they against that, I assure you the election will have been won and lost at this convention.
Someone is saying, I repeat, APC is not doing consensus. You didn't put your name. You sound like you're an APC member. But it's fine. But I mean, thank you so much, Aliyu. If you had one thing to say to the APC, if they are listening, because I think some of them are listening, this is that they are attacking us. What would you say? What would you say to them?
This is my parting shot. In the interest of the party, in the interest of their continued existence as a ruling party, they should allow for a free and fair elections. Because what this thing they are trying to do in the name of consensus, if it goes wrong and just one out of the 23 members is agreed, and I assure you, with the way man they are going, a lot of them are going to be agreed. If they go about it the wrong way, and even a single person goes to court, they will have lost this election even before the first ballot is cast. What they say is enough for the wise. We hope APC and its horde of members are wise.
Well, I can tell you for free that a lot of people are actually looking forward to this disintegration if it ever happens, right? They are hoping that maybe something will happen and the party would just, go into some level of everybody going to different parties and all of that because they feel...
That seems to be the direction the party is taking at the moment.
Yeah.
And who knows? Nigerians have suffered a lot. Maybe it's just Kamada that's trying to build back with the APC what it has done Nigerians. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm on national team.
No, but well, that's what I mean. You are not you're not alone in that summation. A lot of Nigerians are actually at that point where it is anything but APC. So I'm hoping, that whatever it is that they are able to reach, I wish them well in their party politics. I'm just saying that whatever it is, every time I see all of these things happening, I keep on saying, where is the place of the governed, right? Where is the place of the people who you're supposed to be governing? Who is considering those people and picking the best people to represent, and lead those people? That's all I'm asking for in all of this drama.
They don't seem to care. Nigeria is burning, Nigerians are dying, and all that is having attention is who is going to be their flag bearer. And it is not who is to have the best interest of the majority of Nigerians at heart, but who is going to preserve their access to power and the power for the APC and its cabals. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but thank you so much. Thank you, Norma. We had a fantastic conversation. We're going to keep our eyes. I don't think we're going to sleep this night because there's a lot of drama happening. Let's just pray and wake up that tomorrow, all of this, by the time we're on the show tomorrow, everything would be sorted and we'll see the presidential flag bearer for APC and we can all go to sleep and start the work for 2023. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you, Norma. Thank you for joining me tonight. Now, before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow. Don't watch alone. Invite people to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Consensus is the absence of leadership. This was said by Margaret Thatcher. We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.